Prederie Panico, nestled in the rolling hills of Tuscany, overlooking the brilliance of the area. It was home to many until it was abandoned nearly 100 years ago. It sat in ruins until the Luxus Group, along with Italian architect Fulvio de Rosa, brought it back to life, and what a life they gave it. Come with us as we unravel the poignant pieces in Panico's story, a story that brings 400 years of history back to life.
Restoration is much more tricky than a normal architectural project because you have the unknown, which is always there. So when you are on a normal project, you know exactly what you're going to do, what is going to happen. But in a restoration, you always have surprises. My team is one of that fantastic teams. They are not just workers, they love what they're doing. They really share the emotions, and they've been sharing it for almost 2 years. When it was raining, when it was muddy, when it was windy, when it was hot like hell. So this is something they've been always pushing for the same goal. The staircase of Panico was, as for all the other houses in the countryside, external, so they were out, which was obviously for nowadays something not really desirable. So we had to create something from scratch. Beams are part of the structure, and so part of the structure is the past, is the history. So that cannot be swapped for anything else. Beams, small beams, the ceiling material, the floor material, this has to be original because that belongs to the history of the house. So the structure of the table is exactly what it would have been the structure of a table of that time, but to show that this is contemporary, I did it in iron instead of wood. And this obviously shows that it's a copy or a conceptual copy of what it was. The carpenter table is one of the signs of the work of the people, especially of the artisans, of the craftsmen. And I found that in the antique market in Arezzo and purchased and immediately thought that it would have been the perfect bar table because it seems to be made for that. The only sink of the house was a piece of stone carved which was used in the kitchen. I used that as a base for my, say, project as an idea, and so the choices were basically two. Either designing a carved sink, which we did for the bathroom, and using something that was used for something else and use it as a sink. And these two were actually carved piece of stones where the pigs could easily eat. My idea and the artist's idea was to have an actual sculpture in the middle of the room whose function eventually is to be screen for the showers. But as soon as you enter the room, the immediate feeling you have is, my goodness, this is a piece of art. So if you notice the bricks, which are the ceiling, which are exactly the same bricks of that time, they still have some gray nuances because it has to show that was the place where there used to be lots of smoke. One of the beauty of that room is exactly that 80% on 100, it looks exactly as it was, which I think is a big achievement. My vision for landscaping has always been to treat the garden as an extension of the surrounding landscape. so that when you look from far away, you have to have the feeling that nothing was done, that it has always been like that. This is a concept which is very important, and it's a concept that very often is not followed. Well, obviously very, very happy and satisfied, and it's a goal achieved at its best, I think. I consider Panico one of my best projects, for sure.